I mean, is it fair to say also that like Gunpei's like philosophy kind of became Nintendo's philosophy, really, in terms of like
Absolutely.
how they like make their products and like in terms of not necessarily cutting corners, but like finding cost cutting ways to get products out to people, but like at a much cheaper rate.
Absolutely. I mean, that's still the case today, but especially in the early days with the Game and Watch, which was basically a calculator, that was using calculator technology,
Right.
and the Game Boy, which was, I mean, like so much technologically worse, quote unquote, right, than like the Game Gear or the Lynx. It didn't have color, it didn't have a lit screen, all of these things, and people, at first they were kind of worried about it and they were laughing at it a little bit. They're like, how can Nintendo possibly compete with this color screen that's lit up and it looks so nice and everything. And then it turns out people would rather just pay $90 instead of $200 or
Right.
whatever for something that doesn't die in an hour and a half and has really nice, just crisp games. They don't need to see Sonic in blue or whatever. Like it's okay if things are in black and white.
Or
Um,
spin a screen in this case. Yeah.
yeah, he even has a quote in this book I read that's like, people are going to identify an apple as an apple even if it's black, or people are going to identify a snowman as a snowman. Like it doesn't have to be the right color or the right. Uh, it doesn't have to look realistic for people to interact with it and understand what it is. And so, yeah, that is still absolutely a driving philosophy of Nintendo. Um, and I mean, really, it's his legacy at Nintendo is this way of thinking that they don't have to make the next $600 console or whatever, which you know we're hearing the news this morning that the new PlayStation 5 might cost $500 or more, based on
Yeah,
cost. It's
which
like,
makes
well,
sense for like new consoles like nowadays anyway. So yeah,
yeah, but I mean, the Switch was $300.
yeah.
And then the Switch is sort of pulling away from this maybe a little bit. No, not really. It's less obvious now. It was a lot more obvious when you have something like the Game Boy, where it's like, well, the competitors have a color screen that lights up,
Right.
and we're doing black and white with no light. And so the Wonder Swan came out in 1999. Unfortunately, Gunpei Yokoi was killed in a car accident in 1997 before this could be realized. Um,
It was kind of a freak accident too, right? Because like, wasn't it like he like rear-ended like a truck or something like that, and then when he got out of the car, that's when he got hit by like another
yeah,
car
he
or
was he
something.
was in a minor accident and he stepped out of the vehicle and then was killed by an oncoming car.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, very, very, very sad. And honestly, he was sort of out of like the Wonder Swan was the game industry, but I think Koto's legacy is really more of just a small electronics dealer. So I don't know how different the game industry would be if he was still around, but it makes you think.
It would be very interesting to see what the games industry would have looked like if he was able to, to still continue on and everything. Because obviously he spearheaded like the gaming industry in so many ways, especially in the handheld market. And he definitely had a very, very unique way of like approaching and thinking that obviously greatly affected Nintendo and like how they approached making consoles in the future. So, so yeah, a nice little what if there.